I'm 17's Joey Safchik. In an email obtained by NNN, members of Chi Omega were told they should report feeling bullied or harassed to the university. Procedural votes take a backseat while the impeachment managers take the floor for opening statements. Through newspaper, digital media, and broadcast TV. They're lined up around the school auditorium more than 2 hours before the senator is expected to start speaking. But some students are closing their computers and opening their classroom doors. They've lived through fires before, and they say losing power would be worth avoiding another disaster. After the party, the term super spreaders spray painted on this wall. But wearing a mask doesn't mean your skin has to be in bad shape. Congressman David Valadao is running again for the 21st District seat. Good evening, we've got breaking news here on campus tonight. What does changing the narrative look like? Singing, dancing, and celebrating one another is more important now than ever. Local utility companies are seeking to mitigate wildfires, but that could come at a price for local businesses. Here's what the Public Safety Power Shutoff program is all about. In July, independent business owner Taylor Goins was surprised by a text from SoCal Edison.
I was just really confused. I was like, what's this about? It was really stressful because we had no idea when or if it was going to happen.
Goins knows a power loss at his Lake Isabella yogurt shop would be anything but sweet.
Any given time we have up to $3,000 to $5,000 worth of product. That would just be devastating.
Not as devastating as what could happen.
As long as there's the possibility of not starting a fire, then I guess it's very important.
Down the road at the Kern River Valley Senior Center, loss of power could become life-threatening.
No, I don't tolerate the heat a lot, real well.
Judy Stewart has breathing issues, and she's susceptible to heat stroke.
Just to be inside of a house, even if you open the windows, having no power would affect a lot of people.
Here in California, electric power has been responsible for sparking a number of massive wildfires. Last year's Camp Fire and the 2016 Erskine Fire, both ignited by power lines.
And in the last couple of years, we have seen very destructive, very fast-moving fires.
Local electricity providers PG&E and SoCal Edison control energy flow, determining the need for outages, hoping to wire everyone for safety.
Educate people a little bit more as to why they need to and why we're going to start receiving more text messages like that.
The 1960s may seem like ancient history to students today, but there is one important way the era of Woodstock and rock and roll is alive and well on our campus: political protest. This month, protests calling to defund Northwestern's police are making headlines. NU Community Not Cops started protesting this year because the university didn't address their demands, including asking the school to cut ties with the Chicago and Evanston police departments and defund the NUPD.
I will always be a black man on this campus, so I knew it was necessary to use my voice however I could.
But students taking to the street and demanding change is nothing new at Northwestern.
We were the biggest news on campus.
Maybe you've taken a class with Jeff Rice, but did you know he was a student here in the 1960s, and he even got arrested protesting the Vietnam War with the Students for a Democratic Society?
We had an absolutely crystal clear job, and that was to end the war in Vietnam.
Let's start in May 1968, the black student takeover at the bursar's office. For 38 hours, about 100 students refused to leave the bursar's office until the university met their demands, including admitting more black students and giving them more financial support.
Black students realizing that they need a change on campus in order to fully enjoy all aspects of being students at Northwestern, all factored into why they decided to protest.
The bursar's takeover isn't the only mid-20th century protest worth highlighting. Beginning in the mid-1960s, students consistently spoke up against the war in Vietnam and the Reserve Officer Training Corps on campus.
So we opposed ROTC. Now, I think that was a mistake.
Back in the day, the civil rights and anti-war protests didn't just come and go. They lasted years and peaked in May 1975, when 16 students were arrested protesting the ROTC. It wasn't a successful protest per se. The ROTC wasn't shut down on Northwestern's campus, but important discussions between students and admins spurred from the years of protests and teach-ins. Rice says lessons learned back in the day are applicable to protest today.
So you look around and you say, what is the manifestation of a repressive racist state? And you come up with police.
Northwestern's President Morton Shapiro says in an email the university won't abolish the NUPD, but just like protests past, the goal is in part to educate and keep conversations alive.
There's a broader history that ties the events of today to past.
Generation after generation of Northwestern students use protest as they push for progress. Today's protest may or may not lead to resolution, but the conversation is just getting started.
When you hear this, you're not gonna be surprised.
For Aiden Boyer, all the world's a stage, especially in the time of COVID-19. Boyer was diagnosed with autism when he was 2. He marches to the beat of his own drum, or should I say, plays to the rhythm of his own keys. He's been through speech therapy, occupational therapy, and relationship therapy. But his therapy during quarantine...
I can't even begin to tell you how much music has helped me get through this.
From his bedroom to cul-de-sac concerts. Boyer is part of the Miracle Project, an LA-based theater program for people on the autism spectrum, founded by Elaine Hall, better known as Coach E.
The sensitivities, the talent, the understandings that my neurodiverse friends, students, my son, is what the world needs right now.
Students, some non-speaking, light up the stage with song and dance. But during quarantine, the screen becomes the stage, and friends become lifelines.
My mood has just been fluctuating like crazy. So like some days I'll come in and I'll just be really happy, and then some days I'll come in and I'll feel awful. But I'm glad it's there.
The Miracle Project classes are online now, and Coach E makes sure there's space to both sing and socialize.
What are you looking forward to the most? People have reported that this has carried them through one of the darkest times, and they don't feel alone. They feel connected.
Adjusting to a new routine can be challenging for anyone.
With the right supports, everyone, those who are neurodiverse, can thrive.
With that support and a little bit of song, challenge accepted.